Okay, welcome back to We Should Have Gone to University. I'm Ashley, and sadly I'm by myself today. So guys, sorry about the lack of podcast recently. We've been very, very busy doing, our own life and other band things, which we'll be back in maybe next week now with a podcast, probably doing Silverchair album and chatting about what we've been doing. A lot of big things. Damien's been in his first time in the UK, so I'm excited to hear what he's been doing. And Jamie too. We've been currently recording our EP, etc. But if you're not interested in that, I understand. But we'll be talking about Marilyn Manson and Silverchair in upcoming shows. But anyway, this week I got a special episode, right? So I'm really looking forward to doing more of these in the future because, I'm a huge... the whole point of the podcast is that myself, Jamie, and Damien have been, pursuing bands our whole life, and we haven't got to the position that we wanted to, but we're happy. We're still enjoying our life and talking about the things like that. But I am very interested in talking to people who have, in a sense, made it in a kind of way where they're touring and they're actively doing a rock band. And this episode today is actually very special because looking back to the past when I was growing up, when I first got into metal music, I got into this band called Brutality Will Prevail, and you can YouTube them if you're not if you've never heard them. They're kind of like a slow, down-tempo hardcore band. So I'm from South Wales, and in South Wales there was this huge hardcore scene, huge metal scene, in about, I'd say like 2007 to like 2010 or whatever. And there's a lot of good bands, and one of those bands was Brutality Will Prevail. And I talked to the ex-guitarist who's currently in a new band which is called Venom Prison, and they're actually going to be on tour in America from next week actually. So I'll let you know the dates at the end and let you know what we've been talking about with Ash Gray, who's he shares the same name as me, which is funny. And you can hear in the podcast something else that other things that we share. But we just talk about his life in the band, how he handles things, what does he do in the downtime, his gear, all that kind of things. I'm looking forward to doing more people in the future because I think it's I'm much more interested in hearing about all the day-to-day details when it comes to bands. Anyway, alright guys, hope you enjoy, and we'll be back soon. Alright, Ash. My name is Ash too. Are you Ashley, or is it just Ash?
It's Ashley.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, me too. When you were in America, sorry?
How'd you spell it?
Ashley.
Yeah, same. I've never met anyone the other way around.
Me neither. When I was younger, I met a few people with like Ashleigh. They were girls, but not anymore. So when you were in America on tour, did you get a lot of jokes or something?
Nah, not really. I didn't really speak to anyone out there, to be honest.
Really?
Uh,
Why not?
it was just so much like driving. Like there wasn't a day off between any of the shows,
I
so
see.
it's like 16-hour drives, like almost every day. Or
Wow.
it's just bonk, play the show, drive, take it in turns, driving. It's pretty dangerous when you think about it.
I see. So when, so obviously, Ashley, you're the guitar player in Venom Prison, and so our show is called We Should Have Gone to University, and it's kind of a joke about how, instead of trying to get a real job, we were trying to chase bands, rock bands and hardcore bands, etc. So, can you tell me what made you, not want to pursue a real job? Like what's the thing that set you off to be like, I'm gonna try and be in a band? What was that?
I don't know. I don't know. There's definitely pros and cons to it. Like I started doing it when I was quite young, and it was like just just getting to like experience new places, meet different people, learn about different cultures, and it was like a free holiday as such.
So we're actually both from kind of the same area. We're both from South Wales, and I'm from Bridgend. Which part of where are you from?
Newport.
I
I'm a
Newport.
Newport boy.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So like, because I first was aware of you because I became friends with your friend Mark Richards from who's a drummer in BWP. Yeah, Moped. That's right. Yeah. So and when I was younger, I had no what's the word like. I had no idea that hardcore was a real thing, The only thing I grew up with was like Kerrang, All I knew what music was what was on Kerrang. But when I met you, you were already in a like a hardcore band and stuff. So how did you get exposed to hardcore music?
Newport was quite heavy for shows and stuff, wasn't it? Like
Yeah, I found that
I
out later.
was
Yeah.
I was lucky because I live like in the centre of Newport, so I had like all TJs and
Okay.
the pub and all that, and like shows were coming through like left, right, and centre like
Yeah.
all year round. And it was
Okay.
only like, but yeah, it was only like a 5 minute walk from my place at the time.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, very lucky. So when you were in school, I mean, were you playing guitar or were you? When did you start picking up the guitar? Because
Quite young because like my auntie played guitar.
oh, okay.
I just wanted to see what it was like, so she gave me an acoustic,
Yeah.
and I kind of jammed out on that for a bit.
Okay.
Then my dad was like, "Do you want an electric guitar?" And I was like, "Yeah, go on." So I had one for my birthday.
Yeah.
I just basically started at a young age, did it through school, but I didn't really take it serious in school because they wanted us to do like weird shit.
I know. Playing chords and boring stuff, right? I know. I know.
My Maiden riffs. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah, actually, wait, that's me too. I mean, I literally learned how to play guitar by just playing Iron Maiden songs. I mean,
That's all you need to know. Like once you can get some Iron Maiden songs down, you're sorted for
yeah,
life.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Awesome. So also our podcast is more about like, when people, when you meet people who are like, oh, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I'm in a band. And oh, that's cool. But it's like, well, I only play if I play a gig. I'm playing. Well, especially you. I mean, you're in a touring band. I mean, how long is your set usually? Like over 30 minutes. I mean, what do you do with the rest of the day? Right? It's quite a difficult process to be hanging out with these guys. All day in and out, and how do you decide things? How do you keep everyone happy? I mean, it's a very difficult process, right?
Yeah, it sucks. Nah.
Well, we love band names here, so I want to hear your first band name.
My first bands.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
just
hear their
trying to
names.
think. There's a first. I remember like me and my friend Beckett from here. We had like a metal band called Torrent of Hope.
Torrent of Hope. Oh, yeah, it's great. What
And
kind of band was it?
it was like a metal band.
Okay. What else?
We played Windsor, Neath,
Yeah.
and we were so excited because it was our first show outside of Newport.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Right, outside of Newport.
Oh, I see. Oh god. But what about like what was your first like real band where where you felt like, oh, this is an actual band where everyone's serious?
It was kind of a weird transition because it was probably Crossbreaker. We started a band called Crossbreaker,
Yeah, I remember that band. Fantastic.
and we wrote the demo and stuff, and
Yeah.
it was like it wasn't perfect, but it was going somewhere.
Yeah.
And then I ended up joining BWP, and then
Okay.
that's when that happened.
I see. Yeah, so I'm
Uh,
glad. It's interesting you talked about BWP. So for all the listeners, the Ash's like first kind of band that I knew him from was a band called Brutality Will Prevail. So they're called BWP for short. And if you were there, you know this, but if you weren't there, South Wales had this like hardcore scene. I would say BWP were like the center of it, where like almost all my friends from Bridgend were just like into we're into hardcore, we're into BWP, and like I got into it through Mark, of course, but when I went to see you guys, I'd never heard so like slow, slow, heavy music, and it was I can't describe the feeling at the time, but it was a good time to be listening to music. I mean, it was its own scene, right? Like the Purgatory T-shirts and the Sex Wax. Those,
Sex Wax.
yeah, those T-shirts. They were huge, of course. But so how did you join BWP? I mean, was that just because you knew Nick and those guys, and they were looking?
No, I didn't. I knew of those guys because I played shows with them in different bands like Crossbreaker stuff.
Okay.
And I remember getting a phone call being like, who was it? I think it was Jordan was leaving.
Okay.
So yeah, Jordan was leaving. Pablo was still playing bass.
Yeah.
So I joined the guitar for Jordan.
Okay.
And then weirdly, Jordan came back then.
Yeah, actually, talking of Pablo, do you remember that band he did, the Shit in a Bag and Punch It?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah. Do you know how that was just a joke thing, right? I mean, were you involved with that in any way?
I had nothing to do with that.
Oh.
Like, at that point, I was still quite new to BWP, so I wasn't quite, I wasn't that close with them, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, yeah. Yeah, because you always seem kind of, like, when I looked at the band, because I knew Mark, I knew Nick and those guys, and they were, kind of all mates, and I seen you with you had, like, long hair, and Mark had long hair, but then he obviously cut it, and you always looked really different to the other guys, and I assumed that you were all good mates, and it's interesting to hear this.
Yeah, we are good mates, but I mean, when I joined, they were like completely, I was like, I didn't know who they were.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, the shit. Any guys, shit in the bag and punch it was, there's a music forums you can set up in Bridgend. There was a Bridgend music forum, like a local music forum, and Pablo posted, this. Oh, I made the hardcore band called Shit in a Bag and Punch It as a joke, and all the songs were just about like fighting and football hooliganism and stuff, and people went crazy on him because they were like, "Oh, this is not a joke. This is not hardcore." It was. So how the hell did you like? Because their style of music is not exactly the most common thing. I mean, how did you hear the music? Like, did Nick like show you some demos and you were like, "Oh, that's cool," or did you just like from seeing them live? How did you get interested in it?
I always kind of dug what they were doing. Like, I kind of always remember like saying that there was like some weird, almost like kind of Black Sabbath-y vibe, even though you can't quite hear it in a way, it's like, it's kind of got that cool Black Sabbath, like doomy sections that you're like, it's kind of cool, and it's just not all like the same thing over and over. It's like nice, cool, heavy, slow parts that sound really cool.
So, were you involved with the first album? What was it called? The one with Purgatory and those things. What was the first album called? I forgot. Forgotten Soul, right? That's it. Were you involved with that one?
No, Jordan was still in the band at that point.
I see. Obviously, Mark wasn't in the band either then, yeah. So, okay. Yeah. Did you enjoy playing those songs?
Yeah, I thought they were great. Like, I don't think, even when I was in it, I don't think we ever dropped Purgatory out the set.
Yeah, it was. I think most of those songs I loved a lot of those songs. But also the next album came out, which was Root of All Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's when I got into the band, and that's when this, like, how did you feel about the scene at the time? Did you did you feel that you guys were, I know you were touring in Germany and things like that, but did you feel like locally you were a big band in the scene?
I mean, we were like, I gotta be honest, like, the more I think about it now, it's like, we were grafting. Like every single weekend we were booking shows.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
we would work the Friday, and then like AJ would have like shows booked up every weekend for like 3 months straight. So it was like go to work Monday to Friday, get in that van Friday night, play Sunday, back in work Monday, and he'd do that for like months on end, and I'd be like, "Fuck me, this is." But they grafted.
I see. So obviously AJ was the original vocalist, and was he the one that was, you know, kind of like the managing the band in a way?
Yeah, I guess he had a big role in it.
What were you doing at the time when, like, did you have a job as well at the same time?
I probably just left school.
Yeah.
So probably got a job in like an office somewhere.
Yeah. Because I remember Mark was working at a spa or something, right? Because he'd always mention that. So like, I guess if you're not like, if you're in a hardcore band, in a way you need to have, you know, another job, you know, right? So like, I'm sure you have to balance. You need to get a job that you can easily leave, you know, without, you know, you're not too committed to. But
you got a plenty.
Yeah. Do you remember what everyone was doing? Because like I know, Nick was doing some kind of engineering or something, right?
He's an electrician.
That's it, electrician. That's it. Yeah. Did you ever have any problems with like someone couldn't do a gig because of a job or something like that?
I mean, it cropped up every now and then.
Yeah.
But
how do you deal with that? Like, do you feel like, like, do you get pissed off, or are you understanding, or how would you treat it?
It's depending on like the person and the situation. Like if it's someone who puts like, you know, 110% into it every day, every week, and then there's a little fuck up that happens, you kind of like, yeah, you just tripped up.
Yeah,
it's fine. But like, it depends on who it is. If it's someone who's like purposely fucking lazy, trying to dick, that's when you kind of say fuck you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you shouldn't beat them up too much because you got to fucking deal with it every day.
Yeah, I understand. So keeping on the BWP thing, so another big part of the band was the merch and those Purgatory t-shirts, which I have like about 20 that I collected. Like, how did you, like, what did you think about the Purgatory t-shirts and all the merch that was being sold? It was very popular.
It's pretty mad, let's be honest.
Yeah, because those t-shirts with a PR on the back, like, they were selling crazy money on eBay.
Yeah, it was a weird time. It was a weird time. Like, it was like everyone was like so obsessed with one thing. Like, I'd never seen it as bad as that. You know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It was a weird time. It was a very weird time.
Yeah, because like the t-shirts would come up on the BWP website, and then people would, you know, they would sell out instantly, and then 2 days later they would be up on eBay for like triple the money, and you know, people were paying it too.
Mental. I still think it's mental.
Yeah, it is. Well, I remember like do you remember the Cheryl Cole Coco Chanel one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I bought that, and like I bought so I was seeing this girl at the time, and I was like, I thought, oh, I'll give it to her to wear to the show, you know, like, because I already had you know, a bunch of BWP shirts, so I wore that, and I gave her that one to wear, and like she cut the arms off of it. She, like, I was like, oh, for God's sake, I can't really, you know, if I wanted to sell this now, I couldn't do it, but I just, you know, I give it to her just as a, you know, but at the time, the whole hardcore look was like sleeveless shirts and you know, all the girls with the tattoos and stuff. It was crazy. What a waste. Do you remember? Do you remember doing that video? We did it in like Bridgend, in that old abandoned was it like an old abandoned hospital or something in the ruins? We did the music video.
The Path.
Yeah, the Path. Yeah, do you remember doing that?
Yeah, that was pretty fun day.
It was really fun. Yeah, I was there, and like because there was a bunch of guys there with dogs, the pit bulls.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah. So me and my friends were watching, and every time you'd be on the stage, you'd have like two mates like standing on the stage with you by the speakers. Who the hell were those guys?
Oh, Neath, um, OC and Neath. Yeah, they were my stage props.
I see. So they're just your mates, or were they helping out with the gear or something?
Oh, they were my mates, but the problem
Yeah.
is that they didn't. It's kind of funny actually. I
Yeah.
love this.
Yeah.
Didn't really think about it, and they stood there in the first shot,
Yeah.
and then it was like, "Oh, did you just stand there for the first shot?" And it was like, "Yeah," and it's like, "Shit, you're gonna have to be in them all now."
Yeah. Exactly.
So
Oh.
they had to stand there.
Oh.
It's mental when you think about it. It was like, "Oh, no, you can't move. You've been in the first shot now.
Yeah.
You've got to be in all. Otherwise, it'll look
Yeah,
fucked."
exactly right. Yeah, because I think when you played live too, sometimes they'd be, or maybe not them, but some people would be standing next to you. I mean, it was really funny. I just thought like, oh, who are these guys? Like, and they were like in like tracksuits and stuff. They weren't really like the most metal looking guys. uh,
The way it was, wasn't it?
that's true.
With,
So, like, obviously, I don't want to go into the details and stuff, but did you enjoy your time with BWP? Because for me, it was honestly that time changed my life a lot because I was into like Iron Maiden and things like that at that time, and then when I met Mark, he introduced me to all this like music trash talk and architects and all this stuff, and just it completely put me on a different path. And but like for you, I mean, was it just like it was a good time, and or did you really enjoy it?
I mean, I learned a lot from that.
Yeah,
Like, you know, I learned a lot from a young age from that band, really.
yeah,
Like, you think about all the stuff I did with them, like the first tours, like they took me on my first tour.
yeah,
Like, everything I kind of learned was from that band. So it's like when I started Venom Prison, then it was like, if it wasn't for that time in BOP, I wouldn't have really known what to do with Venom Prison, you know?
I understand what you mean. Yeah, yeah, because obviously now the band is still going, but they have like a huge, really different lineup to what I remember. The obviously AJ's not there, you're not there. Bassist has changed, I think, and Nick is still there, of course, but it when I see their posters, I'm like, oh, it's not my image of the band.
Yeah, they've gone through a bit of change, but I mean they're still going strong. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
they're
Yeah.
still doing the shows. Like
Yeah, it's crazy that they're still going, right? Because I think I heard them joking about like they called the band Brutality Will Prevail, which is obviously it's like a name you make up when you're 16, right? uh,
I always find out that it was a hate breed lyric.
oh, really? No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Ah, yeah, that makes sense actually, because I remember chatting to a couple of them about Hatebreed because I thought they were like too cool for Hatebreed. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
too mainstream. Because every time I would talk to Mark, he was like, "Oh, what are you listening to?" He's like, "Oh, I'm listening to this, random band." And I'd be like, "Who's that?" And then but he genuinely was into it. He wasn't just doing it to say like just to be cool or whatever. But like without him, I would never have got into a lot of music. So my time with BWP as a fan was hugely very big for me, and a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of people listening to this who were in the South Wales area at the time were. I mean, it was a really fun time, and yeah, and I remember you just being the guitar player with the long hair and the army jacket and his baseball bat cap backwards. uh, that was your look, right?
I loved it. I
Yeah,
loved it. That Explorer guitar.
yeah, it's fantastic. So after that, I mean, after that time, I kind of like dropped out of the whole scene because I moved away. But then I see online that I see this band like, oh, Venom Prison, and then I see you, and I was like, oh, I know that guy. Wait a minute, isn't that Ash from BWP? And then I seen a female vocalist, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." So, how did Venom Prison, which is your current band, the band that is you're touring with right now, etc. How did you start that? Was it right after BWP, or did you take a break, or what?
I took a break.
Yeah.
Took a break for a while, and kind of just did some new things and stuff, and then a bunch of people I knew who were like good friends and stuff had all like their bands had either just broken up or
Yeah.
they'd left or whatever, and I was just kind of like doing my own thing for a while. Started applying for universities and stuff.
Oh, okay. Oh. Did you go?
Just so, yeah, I passed.
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic! Yeah. What did you do?
I did a sound engineering.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
that's what I do when I'm at home now.
very useful. Are you recording bands and things like that?
I do a bit of everything, to be honest. So it's like recording bands or like even working for like AV companies. So doing like conferences,
Oh, fantastic.
music events. Like I did some like motorbike festival the other week.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's kind of like that's what I knew better than anything else. So I thought I might as well get a degree in it. And then I went self-employed. I just work off that now.
Oh, great,
Worked
great.
out.
So are you Pro Tools or Logic, or what do you use?
At the moment, I'm using Studio One.
Oh, okay. I've never used Studio One. How is it?
I really like it.
Yeah.
It's like a mix between like Cubase, Logic, and Pro Tools.
Oh.
It's kind of like everything does something. It's like it's very like I don't know, easy using, and you can't really mess it up.
That's what you want, right? Yeah. Yeah. I learned how to do everything on Logic, and I'm so used to it now. I like sticking to that. But yeah, I'd like to try that in the future. I mean, are you what are you doing for like? Do you have a laptop, or how are you like? What are you doing when you go out? Are you what kind of interface and stuff are you using?
So I basically got rid of all of my Apple stuff and then just bought a ridiculously powerful laptop for no reason.
Yeah.
Mainly because it was for gaming as well.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see. It's just work related.
I see. Yeah, those gaming laptops are huge, right?
Oh, I literally is the best thing I've ever bought.
Yeah.
Like for recording, it's perfect.
Yeah.
For gaming, it's perfect. Like I literally live on it.
Oh, that's amazing. So obviously you're a gamer too, right? So it's funny because we're this podcast we're all based in Japan now, and there's like down the road from me there's like a second-hand shop where you can buy like Famicons and Nintendos and stuff for like £2 or whatever. It's insane. Like, what's your history with gaming? Were you a Nintendo or a PlayStation guy? What?
I was probably a PlayStation guy. I was a Sega Mega Drive kid.
Okay.
I had a Sega Mega Drive until I got a PS1.
Yeah.
But I play Nintendo. I love like Mario and stuff.
Yeah.
Even some of the stuff like you only get with Nintendo, like Star Fox.
Yeah.
Smash Bros.
Yeah, Smash Bros is really popular. That's good.
But there's something about the PS like one that
Yeah.
first one playing Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah. Oh my God, Final Fantasy. Yeah, I remember that.
It was the best one. It was the best one. Every Final Fantasy is a different story.
Oh, it's not connected then.
No, none of it's connected. Nothing.
That's good. I didn't know that.
So every single Final Fantasy is like a different story. So it doesn't matter what your first one is.
Yeah.
There's just some that we prefer than others.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. So when you're on tour in the bus, what are you doing on your downtime? Are you playing games, or what do you usually do to kill time?
I try and sneak in as much gaming as possible.
Yeah.
Really good.
So you just came off tour in Europe, right?
Yeah.
So was that in a bus or a van, or how are you traveling?
We did a van for that one.
Okay.
Because it was a festival
Yeah.
festival season. So like they weren't really tours; it was show to show.
Oh, yeah, I
You
see.
know,
Yeah.
did, like a couple of festivals and a show with Parkway Drive.
Oh, okay.
A couple like Thy Art Is Murder. Then did another festival in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Then drove to London, and it's like it's not really a tour bus routine. Like
Yeah.
the Fit for an October tour we did just gone
Yeah. I
just
saw
before.
that. Yeah. Oh.
But
So
yeah, it doesn't make sense for that type of tour.
exactly right. Who's driving?
Well, we're lucky because like our guitarist Ben loves. Well, I say he loves driving.
Yeah.
I'm going to say he loves driving. I hope I got that right.
Yeah.
And our sound guy Steve like help. Like I also do a bit of the driving.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just cool. We all help each other out, and it's just more room for everyone as well.
Yeah, that's good. So, for example, in the van, etc. So, obviously, you can't chat and have jokes the whole ride, right? I mean, what does everyone do separately in the band? Are you all just on your laptops, or are you listening to iPods, or what are you doing usually in the van?
I think like everyone's kind of like gotten used to their own devices.
Yeah.
I think like if like Jeff may like pop his Nintendo Switch out, I might get my laptop out
Yeah.
and play on games, or like maybe put my headphones in and watch something on Netflix. Yeah. Like some people might just be talking in like a small group.
Yeah.
It's like everyone just kind of like learns.
Yeah.
They learn to get on with it. Like last tour there was like 2 TVs in the van, so Jeff plugged his Switch in and we just played FIFA for about 6 hours.
I see. Yeah.
You find ways to do stuff.
Okay, that's very cool. So you mentioned Parkway Drive recently. Have you heard their new album, the new stuff they're doing?
I haven't listened to it yet, to be brutally honest.
Yeah, no, because their early stuff I'm not a big fan of. It's just breakdowns, really. It's not really. But now they've kind of the new album is like they're playing like like almost Iron Maiden-y type songs, or whatever, and like all their old fans are like saying this is shit now because they sound like like Iron Maiden or whatever. But like obviously your band is a kind of a death metal band, right? How do you describe what's your sound?
I don't really know. Like we get asked this,
Yeah,
and I'm always not a clue.
Exactly right. I mean, that's what kind of the point I wanted to make. Because I mean, so in Japan, my friends, we have a band, etc. But people ask us like, oh, what kind of band is it? It's like, well, I don't know, it's a rock band because it's kind of for other people to decide what kind of band you are. But when I YouTubed your videos and stuff, it says like, oh, death metal, but I don't hear purely that. There's a lot of influences in there. But you must get that question a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things we've never really like. We always knew we wanted to be a metal band.
Yeah.
And like we started like I listened to like a lot of grindcore, and we all played in hardcore bands before that. But it was also like the point and the principle of being like we want to be a metal band, not like a metallic hardcore band. Like we want to be a metal band, like so just kind of something completely new. And it's like we never really meant to put into a category and stuff. So when we ended up people being like death metal, I was like, no, I guess if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of confused about, because like I know you have to kind of put a genre on it as a general thing, isn't it? You got to say, all right, in general it's this kind of music. But yeah, I didn't really get from listening to your music, I didn't really get the death metal vibe.
It's not just it's not straight gore hammer, is it?
No,
it's
not
like
at all, not at all.
I don't know. I think it's for me it's always meant to be a metal band, so I'd say it is a metal band.
Yeah, I would just say that too. It's funny because your last release was Animus, right?
Oh, the first
Yeah.
release,
So the one now is was it Samsara?
Sam
Samsara. That's
Star.
right. Yeah. So the one before, which was Animus, which was very funny because like as I said, we have a band. I have a band in Japan, and we made an EP, and our vocalist is American, and I was like, oh, what are you gonna call it? And he's like Animus. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then we released it, and then I went on Facebook and I saw you'd released your album called Animus. I was like, oh no, everyone's gonna think I like just robbed your idea or whatever. So
Was it at the time as well?
yeah,
What a
it's
coincidence.
crazy. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, we're both named Ash, and we both named our CDs Animus. I couldn't believe it. I was like, shit. Yeah. So who's in charge of naming the albums and stuff in the band?
I think Larissa gets like a load of ideas and stuff, and
Yeah.
then like she'll either like discuss them with me or like whoever else, and we'll kind of just bounce ideas back and stuff until we get there. Like normally we start doing it way in advance because we know we're going to change it 500 times before it.
Yeah. Like, what about song titles? Because yours have working titles, right? I mean, like, are there any songs on the Animus or Samsara that had some funny working titles?
Um, Not really. It's kind of weird. It's like a fast process because it's almost like we write all the songs and we do all the pre-productions and we just call them song one, song two,
Oh,
song
okay, okay.
three,
I see, I see. Yeah, I mean, I was
and like
interested.
we don't have them as names. Like, and it's weird because when the album's done is when like Larissa names the songs. So like
Yeah,
when we're on stage, what are we playing? And then it's like instead of saying like uterine industrialization, like
yeah.
on the pre-production projects, it was song seven.
I
So
see, I
it'd be
see.
like song seven, and you're like, oh, safe, like safe, I
Yeah.
got it. No worries.
Yeah.
Like it took us time to even know the names.
Okay. So, so what's your process in the band? So, for example, right? So I'll use my example. So usually I'll be playing guitar and I'll just come up with like, oh, that sounds cool, and I'll go to my computer and I'll plug into Logic and I'll use the bass and the drums that are already on there to kind of construct, record the idea, and then I'll send that as an MP3 to the other guys in the band, see if they're interested, and if they're interested, then we'll take it to the practice room and we'll jam it out, and then later we'll put the vocals on it. How does the songs how do you create the songs in Venom Prison?
We're quite fortunate because me and Ben both have like recording software and equipment.
Okay.
So we basically just record everything on our own at our homes.
Yeah.
So like today I did a couple hours up here, and just basically just keep writing, and then I'll just put like drum patterns to it
Yeah.
and stuff, and just kind of like map them in correctly so it's accurate to what I want.
Yeah.
And just kind of like flow off that, and then I'll save it and then go downstairs, chill out for a little bit, have a cup of coffee, come back upstairs and listen to it back and kind of like start to dissect it.
Yeah. I think that's very important to do, to take a break.
Yeah, like I think that's the problem is people just hear it and go, yeah, sick.
Yeah.
And then just like that's it. Whereas like, hang on a minute, just come back to it and then tell me you still think it's sick.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. I've done that a few times. I'm like really into a riff, and then I'll go to work, I come back, and then I'm like, it's not actually that good. In your head it sounds better than it is, right? And then yeah, I totally understand. All right, so like, what about vocals? I mean, you mentioned Larissa. She's the vocalist, and actually, she like you started the band because she's from England, right? And she moved down to Wales.
Yeah, from Germany originally.
Oh, from Germany. Sorry. Okay. Oh, wow. So, do you know why she came to Wales? I mean, I didn't hear about that.
Well, it was like studying and living and stuff, and yeah, basically the band started taking a move like quicker than expected.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Um,
from when you started the band to when you know started getting noticed and etc. How long was that?
well, the band's been going 4 years now.
Yeah,
Uh, and I think as soon as we dropped that first record, because we got picked up off the EP
yeah.
by Prosthetic.
Okay.
So then once we started recording Animus, we released it, and the press was really good on it, and the tours were coming in. The tours were perfectly timed.
Yeah.
And like everything just fell into place really well. Then the Trivium tour came up.
Oh, great.
We did the Trivium tour, and then we went to America. Then we came back, recorded another record, dropped that, and then it's kind of been a constant.
Yeah. Have you have you had any time to like reflect on it? Because I mean, like, what were you like when you're like, guys, we're going on tour with Trivium in America? I mean, how did you feel?
I mean, it's just one of those things where you just either you either sit there and admire it for too long, or you just keep going and seeing what else you can achieve. I mean, we didn't set out to do any of this mad shit. Like it just happened, and like, well, let's go with it. Like, what's the worst that could fucking happen?
Exactly. Like, do you feel like let's say if the band wasn't doing as well as it would, like, would you still be doing it even as just a hobby?
Yeah, I love it.
You're right.
Like,
Do you ever get people asking you that question? Like, why are you doing it?
Not so much, but yeah, I have been.
Yeah, because a lot of people said like, oh, are you trying to be famous? It's like, if I'm trying to be famous, I'm not going to start a metal band. It's the least profitable band, right?
It's just something I enjoy. I find it,
Yeah.
I find the whole thing quite therapeutic. Like, I enjoy seeing it do better each time, and I enjoy seeing something that I started from the ground building up.
Exactly. What do you enjoy the most, playing live or recording?
I like both. And I think they're both totally different in a way.
Absolutely right.
One is kind of like, they're both focused, but I mean, they're focused in a different way.
Yeah. So, talking of recording, so the last Samsara you did, how do you guys record? I mean, are you doing to a click, or are you doing like live drums, or what's the process? Can you run me through that?
We record to a click.
Yeah.
Just so like if there's any problems down the line, we can always sort it out.
Absolutely. That is the benefit of doing a click, right? It's it makes it easier in the editing ways, etc. So
yeah, we just wanted to make it a bit more consistent. The EP wasn't recorded to a click.
Oh, okay.
And we learned the very hard way straight away that recording to click is quite important. So we just started doing that.
Yeah. So what about your drummer? Is he comfortable with playing to a click?
Yeah, he plays to a click live as well.
Oh, okay. I see you do that live too. Yeah, I noticed that. I mean, how is that? Do you have that in your monitor, the click?
We got like these in-ears now.
Yeah.
They're pretty sweet.
What are you getting in your in-ears? Are you just getting the vocals or your guitar?
Full house mix.
Oh, okay.
But so it's like a full house mix with little vocals, and then Ben's guitar than mine, just so I can jam along with him, and it's just in my ears. It's pretty great.
Is it good? Is it good? Because I've never tried it. It seems strange.
It is fucking strange. Like the first time you do it, man. Like we've only just done it for the first time on this tour. Just gone Brutal Assault was the show.
Okay.
And like, I shit you not, like literally, it was like, fuck me, we're about to use these in-ears for the first fucking time
Yeah.
at Brutal Assault. And I'm like, it's like fucking, literally, it's like 11 o'clock at night or something. And I'm like, fuck this. So it's like, went up there, and like, no word of a lie, it was like literally straight in the zone, like straight in.
Wow. Yeah. I see them all the time, obviously a lot of pro bands are using them, but I mean, I guess it takes a while to get used to. But do you think you're gonna use them all the time now?
Yeah, after that tour, I loved them. I used them every show.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So, all right, so let's talk about the recording process. I mean, what amps are you using for the last record you did?
We were using Black Star HT Metal.
Okay, yeah, I used to have one of them. I think they're really good, man. I mean,
The HT Metal are great.
yeah, I was really surprised. I bought one second hand, and it was the problem was on the clean channel, one of the I needed to replace the tube, but I didn't get around to it because I didn't really use the clean channel so much. But the channel 2, 3, the heavy channels are fantastic. I'm a big fan, really big fan.
Yeah, I really like them. They're just kind of like, they're just like, angry marshals.
Yeah, exactly. And they're really easy to get, right? They're in Japan. They sell a lot here. They sell everywhere. So if you have any problems or anything, they're easily replaceable.
Yeah, that is true. They're a big company.
Yeah. So when you're playing live, what about your cabinet? What are you using as a cab?
We've also got the Black Star HT Metal cabs as well.
Good. So I saw. When did you start playing Black Star? Has it been a few years?
We got endorsed by them in like 2016, I think.
Oh, cool. How was that?
And
How did that feel to get a guitar endorsement?
It was pretty sweet. We got Jackson as well, and that rules.
Oh yeah, I seen your guitars, man. The guitars look awesome, very good. It really suits you, because
I love those Jacksons. They're like my pride and joy.
yeah, I know you've always had that kind of the metal-y kind of look. It suits you a lot, very good. Wow, so Jackson's going into Black Star HT metals. Wow. So did you record like okay, so a lot of people, do you know like Kemper and Axe FX and things like that? Have you tried those out yet?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't tried one out personally.
Yeah.
I've heard people using them.
How do you feel about them? Like, I know you haven't tried, but like, what's your feeling generally?
I mean, they're cool.
Yeah.
I think for the studio, they're perfect. I think, they're probably the most practical thing for like bands coming in, and if they want to get some sweet amps that probably are quite rare, they can get all that shit.
Yeah, they're very practical.
Live, I just want to use a valve amp. That's all I want to do. I want to just use something big, maybe.
Yeah, I totally agree, because actually I have a Line 6 Helix, and I use that when I play live. It goes into front of house, and it's great. And then I use like a FR speaker on stage, and it is good, but it's not the same as a tube amp for me. Like,
no,
I'm a big fan of like Mesa Boogie Rex and stuff, and like when we go to band rehearsal, I just plug into the Mesa Boogie, and it's like the feeling you get from a cranked tube amp compared to these like Axe FX and stuff, which are really really close, but it just doesn't have it doesn't push the air as much. You know what I mean?
Well, it is. It's all in the air, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's like when you have that amp slap in the back of your legs.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. But once again, we're talking about being practical, and if you're a band that's touring a lot, you can fit a Kemper in a small bag, and it saves a lot of money on transportation, etc.
Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah. All right. Also, talking of rehearsals, I mean, where do you guys rehearse? Do you have like a studio, or like how do you get together?
We normally just go to like a practice room in Bristol called RS.
Oh, okay.
We're pretty friendly with the guy who owns it and stuff, and just practiced there for a long time. But we normally just kind of, because we play to a click and stuff, everyone just learns this stuff at home, and then before a tour we'll all get together and just, jam through the set a couple times.
Oh, okay. So you don't like over rehearse?
No, not really. There's no need to.
Exactly.
Even when we're writing and stuff, like I'll do it all at home and Ben will do it all at home, and then he'll come over mine, and then we'll start sending them to everyone, and everyone will show up to practice and play the song.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, it's cool how like productive everyone is.
Yeah, it's the benefit of living in the time we live in, right? I mean, God, like even like 10, 15 years ago, you'd have to be, how do you contact everyone, right? So how do you guys, do you have like a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group or something?
We have a bit of everything.
Yeah.
WhatsApp, Facebook, like even like and shit. Like, but we run that on like different channels and stuff, different platforms.
Okay. So if you guys have like like an issue or whatever, how are you? Do you prefer talking, face to face, or are you doing in a message group or whatever? How do you do it usually?
To be fair, like we kind of trust each other's judgments now. So it's like if Larissa's making merch up and stuff, like we won't question it. We know it's going to be cool.
Oh, that's good.
So we just like, and every time there's a design, it's always like, what do you think of this? And it's like, yeah, that's cool. Print it. So it's kind of like everyone's got a lot of trust in each other, which is kind of cool. It's cool to think about it like that. Like, whatever someone's going to do, you can rely on them because they'll get it done.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's quite rare, right? Because, I mean, I'm sure you've been in a lot of bands, right? And, communication is extremely important. And, if you have someone who's quite hot-tempered or whatever, or stubborn, it does drag the whole experience down, right?
Yeah, it does. And, like, I mean, we're all guilty of that as well. But, I mean, we kind of get over it pretty quickly.
That's good. That's good to hear that, because, like, obviously your band has got to a stage now where you're touring Europe and America and things like that, but there's a lot of good bands that never get to that point because they're they have a stupid fight or kind of some ridiculous topic. Can you remember like you don't have to be specific with the band, but can you remember like a funny fight that you've had in a band over something stupid?
There's been loads. There's been so many that I literally can't even keep count.
Yeah. Can you share one?
I'm just trying to think of like ones that are even.
Yeah.
I think it's more to do with like none of them will make sense.
Yeah. Because I've seen for example, I've seen a fight between two of my friends about they're fighting about cheddar cheese.
Oh, jeez.
So one guy was American and one is British, and they were arguing about who made cheddar cheese famous. So was it America because they use cheddar cheese in a lot of food, or was it the town of Cheddar in England where it's originally from? Yeah, it was like about a 3-hour argument about no. America made it famous because, we put it on all this food. And then the British guy is like, no, it's from Cheddar, England. The town it's named after Cheddar. And yeah, it was a 3-hour argument. And yeah, it was ridiculous. Do you have anything like that you can remember off the top of your head?
That happens. Like, that's another thing. It just happens all the time. It's just like someone being like so right that they're wrong. And then they're like, holy, sorry, I was wrong.
Yeah. But you guys handle it quite well, right?
Yeah, I mean, we just shout and then get over it. Like, we'll tell someone to fuck off, and then about 10 minutes later, we're kind of over it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to hold a grudge. I'd rather get it out there and just be like, shout at each other, get it out, and then be like, right, we're done. Let's keep going.
Absolutely, yeah. You have to, right? I mean, it's better to keep it, don't keep it inside because the resentment is going to grow, and that's probably what's going to, it could kill the band in the end, right? If you're not actually communicating properly.
Yeah, definitely.
So, obviously, your last tour was in Europe, which is a festival tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what
Yeah.
about if you're doing on a regular tour? Like, obviously, you get to the town. What do you do to kill time? Because the gig is only like 30, 45 minutes, or whatever. What are you doing like in the morning and the afternoon, etc.? Like, let's say you're in Europe somewhere. Do you do all the touristy things, or do you just chill in the van and just wait?
Depends what tour. Like the fifth and autopsy one, we had a bus, so it was like you could sleep a bit
Oh,
more.
okay.
But I mean, I just go and find like cool coffee place, or
Yeah.
maybe just like walk around the town. Or even some days I'm just happy like plugging my laptop in and playing some games. Like go with what I feel like. I always get out as much as possible, but there's no harm going back to the venue after a while and playing some games.
Absolutely, yeah. What do you do to warm up before you play? Do you have like some kind of ritual you do or something?
No, not really. It's weird. I just kind of like pick it up.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I like just pick it up and just like do a bit of noodling on it.
Yeah. Do you have any particular song you like to warm up with?
Not really, man. I just kind of noodle on it, like just jam and it's just to get my fingers moving.
Exactly. Okay. So what's your current gear? What are you using at the moment? So you said that you have the Blackstar HD 100 metals, right? Are you still using that?
Yeah, but we've changed now.
Oh, yeah.
We've changed.
What are you using now?
We got EVH now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the 5150, right?
Yeah, I got a 5150 EL34 and
nice. Wow. How are those amps? I mean,
they're monstrous, man. They sound great.
Yeah, because I know the obviously PV's got the 6150 now, right? Because it's they separated as a EVH whatever. Yeah, I've seen them a few times. Are there any other amps? Because I'm a huge gear. I love gear and stuff. And are you kind of a gear head, or are you just kind of yeah? What other amps do you like for playing like metal and stuff? Are you a Diesel fan?
I wasn't that much of a Diesel fan. Like I remember playing like a Framus Dragon Head.
Okay, yeah.
I was always a Marshall guy though. I always owned Marshalls.
Yeah, I noticed that because in the BWP days, both of you had Marshalls. So yeah.
Always Marshall, man. Like I don't know what it was. I think it was like I really loved that whole like distorted but like almost rocky tone.
I know what you mean.
Like it wasn't like overproduced or anything. It was like I don't know. It was like a rock tone.
Yeah. It's funny, right? Because like if you play a guitar by itself, like if you play a Marshall, you think, oh, it doesn't sound that heavy, right? But when it's in the mix, it sounds probably more heavier than if you had a super high gain amp. You know what I mean?
It's just because of all that low end.
Exactly.
Just carry.
Yeah, exactly. So right now you're using the Jackson guitar. Which model are you using?
I got 3 of them. I got a Rhodes with blackouts. Got a King V with Seymour JB pickups.
Nice.
I got a Phil Demmel V signature with a Floyd Rose, also with the Seymour pickups.
How do you deal with the Floyd Rose? Because when the string breaks, you're fucked, right?
My Sunburst, my King V, I use live because it's got a hard tail.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, oh, that's good. So
I tried to avoid Floyd live.
Okay, so live you're playing. Go on, sorry.
I'll use it if I have to. Like if something happens to my Sunburst, I'll use.
Okay, so they're kind of backup guitars, or do you switch in the set?
Nah, backup.
What tuning are you using?
B standard.
Ah, nice. Have you seen that Digitech drop pedal?
Yeah, they've always been doing stuff like that for years, but it's like You never really see much of it. It's like it almost never takes off.
Yeah, I think that one's fantastic. As long as if you only go 2 semitones, it's fine. If you go like 3 or 4, it sounds digital. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's really, really good. All right, so you're going from your Jackson into. Are you going straight into the amp, or do you have pedals?
Pedals.
What kind of pedals do you have?
I got an MS3, a Boss, Maxon, OG808,
Okay.
TC Century.
What Boss pedal do you have?
MS3.
Oh, the MS3. Sorry, yeah.
The Polara, Digitech Reverb, and then I got like an expression pedal for the MS3.
That's cool.
And a G70 wireless unit.
Nice. Do you have any problems with the wireless? The G70? That's line 6, right?
The G70 is perfect, man. Like literally, because I use I got a Strymon power supply as well.
Okay, that's good. What's that called? The O something.
The Zoom.
It's really good.
The one you mean is like the add-on.
I see.
The Zoomer is
okay. Yeah. The one I was thinking of was the blue one. The blue one, but never mind.
Yeah, I know which one you mean. Yeah, this is also cool, but it is great. Like it's so good, and like it changes like its actual current flow in like different countries.
Okay. So do you use the effects loop, or you direct into the front of the amp?
Effects loop.
Okay.
I got a loom with a junction box on the bottom of my board.
That's good.
So I run, effects loop. Sounds a lot tighter.
It does, right? Yeah, I much prefer like delay and reverb in the effects loop, just because obviously you're not distorting, it's before the distortion, not after, right? It's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So since you've been playing in the band, have you played with any like bands that were you like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm playing with this band?
I mean, yeah, there's been like a few. I mean, I kind of been so focused on what the band has been doing. I haven't really looked around me, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not because I don't want to. It's just because, like, I'm so fixated on getting the next thing sorted.
No, I totally understand. It's good to hear that you're focused. But you are enjoying it, right?
Yeah, I love it. I would do it otherwise, but it's just nice to do this alongside my work, and it's like everything's going hand in hand type thing. It's like it's worked out pretty well.
Awesome, that's good to hear, man. So also on this podcast, basically we also re-listen to a lot of new metal songs. So what do you think about back in the day, the new metal era? Were you a fan, or was it shit?
I mean, I like Linkin Park.
Yeah, because you said you're from Newport, right? And all the guys I knew from Newport were all like, nah. I was listening to bloody, Marauder and shit like that back then.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds about right. I like Linkin Park, and like I used to listen to Kill Logic for a laugh.
Okay.
Yeah. And never really bothered listening to like Korn or anything like that. Really? It's kind of weird.
Yeah. You skipped over that stuff, right?
Like System of a Down, not a clue. Like,
wow.
Like I know who they are, know their singles. I couldn't tell you what like a record is start to finish.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because like my by the way, how old are you, Ash? Are you
28?
Okay. Oh, so you're 1 year younger than me, and like for me, when I was in school, everyone had Kerrang, and it was all that was on there was Korn, Limp Bizkit, and Linkin Park, and all these bands, and I was into it, man. I was really into it, but at the same time, now it's kind of got this stigma about it, right? About being like one of the worst genres ever. But when you listen back to like Linkin Park and stuff, are you still listening to it, or is it just like you've passed it by?
I mean, Reanimation by Linkin Park is like incredible.
Yeah, that is good. Like, right? Yeah, you're right. I think that's much better.
Like, I think even if you listen to old Linkin Park and you think like, that's aged or whatever, you listen to Reanimation and it's like Reanimation is timeless.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the most overlooked thing they ever did.
Yeah, it's quite original at the time too, right?
Well, it was just like no one talked about it. Like I remember like going to school and it was like you listen to Reanimation, everyone's like, no, what the fuck's that? And it's like that was like almost like I listen to it now and I think, fuck, that's good.
Yeah, because like obviously they started off really heavy, and they did that Reanimation, and then they did like the Jay-Z crossover or whatever. So they were always doing, kind of interesting things, which is cool.
Yeah, they're always up to something.
So like around that time, like from like 10 to 16, what were you listening to? Because that was like the new metal era time. So what were you into? Since
I loved Maiden. I loved Maiden.
Yeah.
Like I loved Iron Maiden. Like I used to just sit in my room listening to them like all the time.
Yeah. I didn't get into them until like I was 16.
I loved it. Like I thought they were so good. Like my dad used to listen to a lot of Nirvana, and my dad loved Motorhead and Riot and Metallica and all that shit. So it was like I listened to a lot of that at home.
Yeah, for me too. I think Maiden. Like, well, I got into them when I was 16, and I just like because they released the A Matter of Life and Death album, and like.
Yeah.
They toured. They played in Cardiff, so I went to see them. And Trivium supported them, so my mate came with me to see. He went to see Trivium, and I went to see Maiden. And I was like, it's like with typical Maiden shows, all the fans just stand there, looking at the support band, not even, giving them the time of day. It's rough.
Yeah. Was that a Cardiff show?
Yeah, it was in CIA or whatever it's called now, Motor Point Arena.
I think I was there.
Really? Yeah, it was Trivium and I Maiden and.
Yeah, I went with my dad.
Because they played the whole album. They played the whole Matter of Life and Death album, and a lot of people were kind of not into it.
I thought, was that the Dance of Death tour?
No, it's the one after that. I think it's after. Yeah, after. Dance of Death tour was before.
I think I must have done both or some shit. I can't remember.
Yeah. What's your favorite Maiden album?
I don't know. This is the hardest question ever. Like I like Killers. Yeah. I love Brave New World.
Me too.
I
think Dream of Mirrors is one of the best songs they've ever done.
Even like Dance to Death, I thought was a really good album. I listened to that on tour recently.
Yeah, what's your favorite track on there?
Oh, I don't know. Like I'm gonna say most memorable is Rainmaker.
Yeah, Rainmaker is a classic, right? I like was it Months Ago, the really heavy song.
It's like I like that kind of like that just cool. I don't know. It's like that lead line that's like it won't leave you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you prefer like are you a Bruce fan or do you like was it Paul Di'Anno?
Paul Di'Anno.
Who do you prefer?
I mean, I grew up on Dickinson. I do like Paul Di'Anno.
Me too. I like those two albums a lot, especially the first one.
I mean, I do like him and stuff, but I'd have to say him for longevity.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Ash, awesome. That was good to talk to you, man. It's funny because I was bumming around the whole BWP days, and like I never actually talked to you back then because I'm friends with Nick and Mark, etc. But you always kind of looked kind of chilled, so I never actually introduced myself to you. It's kind of funny.
I was always the quiet one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, always. Yeah. Like you didn't seem like standoffish. I just thought you were just always chilling by yourself or talking to someone who's kind of. I'm happy I've had a chance to talk to you, even if it's by Skype like 1,000 miles away from you.
Yeah, I like to chill in the chat. Like I'd rather like have a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
Just
Exactly.
something a bit popular.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That's why I started this show because I'm in Japan with like these two other guys. One's American, one's from England. We've all been doing the same thing with our lives. We've been trying to do bands or trying to do whatever with music, and now we're just chatting about the how hard and how funny things are. It's a crazy life, right?
It is. It is. Like, I'm gonna look back on this and think, what the
I know.
fuck was I thinking?
It's good to hear, man. All right, Ash, take care, man. Right, I'll hope talk to you soon. Good luck with your tour, right?
Thank you, man. Take
Awesome.
care. Bye bye.
Thanks, man. All right, thanks for listening to the show, guys. I hope you enjoyed. That was really fun for me to talk to him, Ash Gray from Venom Prison. Yeah, I know. I guess if you're listening to that and you're, anywhere but UK, I guess you wouldn't really understand what we're talking about. But it's just very, this is my podcast, I guess, and talking about that back in the day, back in South Wales with those bands with Brutality Will Prevail and Crossbreaker and all those guys was big deal for me. It was really fun to talk to Ash about all those, those days. It was a good time in my life. But anyway, Ash is on tour with Venom Prison. I hope you check him out on YouTube and everything, Bandcamp, etc. They're actually heading to the States now. So Friday, September 13th, he'll be in Ottawa, Canada. 14th is Quebec. 15th is Waterford, New York. Then they're going from, September 16th will be in Somerville. I guess that's Massachusetts. Next it will be Wednesday, September 18th in New York. Thursday, September in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Friday, September 20 in Indianapolis, Indiana, I guess. This is funny because I can see the city name and then just like IN. I'm just guessing. September 21 is Detroit, Michigan. Come on. Sunday, September 22nd is Chicago, Illinois. September 24, Kansas City. Oh, what's that? MO. Kansas City, Missouri? I don't know. I have no idea. Guys, let me off here. Wednesday, September 25th is Denver, Colorado. I know that because that's where Damien's from. Thursday, September 26th is in Salt Lake City, Utah. Friday, September 27th in Boise, Idaho. Wow, there's a lot of dates. Saturday, September 28th is in Seattle, Washington. September 29th is Portland, Oregon. And all those shows are with Homewrecker, or another band. Into October, they're going to Orangevale, California, I guess. Then Los Angeles on the 2nd of October. October 3rd is Las Vegas. October 4th is Mesa, Arizona. October 6th is Dallas, Texas. October 7th, Houston, Texas. October 8th, Austin, Texas. October 9th, New Orleans, Los Angeles. Wow. I mean, if you just Google it, you can see the dates, etc. But I've started now, so I'm going to finish. October 10th, Atlanta, Georgia. October 11th, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. October 12th, Washington, D.C. Whoa, October 13th is Amityville. Oh, NY. Is that New York? No. Yeah, it must be. Anyway. Yeah, and then from November, they're going to Leeds in England at Damnation Festival. So check them out there because, yeah, they're really cool, man. I mean, it's really cool to hear Ash doing new music and, yeah, it's very different, but very, very cool. Very, very cool. All right, guys, so we'll be back in next week now, hopefully with either a more guest or a regular podcast, but we're trying our best. All right, guys, take care.